Yeah, it's rewind time.
Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of the Rewind podcast, where we'll be looking back on some of the most notable books, movies, and music that shaped our generation. Even though we all grew up watching the same things, we definitely don't always have the same opinion. And for our second topic, we read the book, we reread the book, The Giver. We first read it in 7th grade, and we spent our time since the last podcast rereading it. I'm Victoria, and I'm here with my two co-hosts, Philip and Cal. And our first topic of discussion is going to be our favorite scenes from The Giver and why. And my personal favorite scene is when he first gets the vision of the sled, because I think it ties it all together at the end, and it's just like a full circle moment. And when I first read the book, I remember really being like amazed by that ending.
Yeah, I definitely feel like him like seeing something that he ends up like coming to at the end kind of ties it all together. One of my favorite scene was the ceremony of 12 when they were all being elected for their jobs. Like I thought it was really interesting. Like first going into it, being like, okay, so these people just have jobs for the rest of their lives, and they kind of just are picked to do something for the rest of their life. And like when he wasn't called, and then they chose him as the memory person, I feel like it was kind of just like he was singled out, and he was kind of like chosen as a special one. And I feel like it kind of gave him a sense of like purpose, and I think like he understood that going throughout the whole book.
Yeah, I definitely really like that scene, especially like some of the suspense of when he didn't get chosen. You're kind of worried if something went wrong, but you find out that it's because he's special. But my favorite scene was the ending of the book, because I just like how it ended, the ambiguity of it, because you don't really know if he lives or he dies. I personally believe that he dies, but it really is up in the air, and I just think that's a really interesting way to end the book, because it can leave every reader with something different to take away from it.
Yeah, especially at the ending when you just talked about, like, I think he is still alive. Like, obviously, I just feel like I have that belief in my head that he, right throughout the entire book, like, he kind of chose to do something else, and he kind of, like, lived the dream that he wanted to be in, and leave the people that he wanted to kind of find home, you could say.
Yeah, I think I agree with Philip on this one. I think that he might have been hallucinating, but I really like how the author like left it up to us to decide. I don't usually like when authors leave it in a cliffhanger, but I think with this book, it keeps the conversation going, and no one really knows what actually happened. So I think it's good to definitely see the different theories that people think happened, and I think that.
Yeah, one of the things I hate though is the way the movie ends it. I feel like just the way that they ended that movie was kind of just a little ridiculous, and kind of like changing the entire book. Like it wasn't even close to the way the book was.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall the movie was really bad, but especially the ending, where I think it's pretty clear that he's alive. I just think that kind of ruined some of the special and the charm of the book. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's very important to always read the book before watching the movie that they make after it, because I feel like they don't do as good of a job with the movie than the original book. So our next question is, if we were the writer, what would we change? And I would change the ending to have more explanation about what really happened with Jonas and Gabriel. And I know that I would definitely love a second book explaining more about what really happened.
For me, I really wish what I would change is the way they introduced the Giver. I feel like there was a lot of questions behind who he was, what he was really doing there. And I mean, they didn't really explain too much. I mean, they went more into depth as the book went on, but I feel that they could have explained who he was and how he got there. Like, he's really old, so I wish they explained who was before him and all the other things. That there was too many questions to be answered at the end of that book.
Yeah, for me, I think what I would change is I think I would just make the book a little longer and more sophisticated, because it works well for a kid's book, but then reading it as an adult, where I'm a little bit better at comprehending reading, it definitely felt a bit like too short, and I think there could have just been more kind of detail and just overall like a more complex and like just sophisticated book, I suppose.
Our next point is, was it overrated or actually good? I think that having it be a book that we're required to read made me not want to read it, but then when I really started understanding it, I think the second time reading it, I think it definitely wasn't overrated, and I thought it was a really good book. And I think my overall rating would probably be a 9.5, and I think it's a really good book that everyone should read at least once.
I also agree with that. I thought the book was very good. I thought it had a lot of different turning points and a lot of different characters that were super interesting. I would rate this book an 8 out of 10. I feel like it could have answered more questions, but I definitely liked the book, especially when I was younger. I loved reading those kinds of books with different topics that you wouldn't normally see in real life, and I think it was always interesting to me.
Yeah, I think the book's really good. It's really engaging. It kind of just has a really solid story. It has a lot of good themes about conformity and what it kind of means to be, your own person. And I'd give it an 8 out of 10 because I think it's really good. But there is some ways it could improve. But overall, a really good book. It's really strong story.
Okay, guys, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for listening, and make sure that you guys tune in next time, where we will be listening to some of the popular and influential songs that shaped our generation.